The final 2 episodes of The Chi are here, and this one comes with a warning nobody can ignore. Season 8, Episode 9 is called Cold Feet, and if you thought things were tense before, you have not seen anything yet, because this episode is about to blow the lid off a secret that has been sitting underneath this entire season like a bomb waiting to go off. Emmett is finally about to open his mouth and tell Kiesha the truth about what really happened to Nuck, and once those words leave his lips, there is no taking them back. This is the moment we have been building toward since the very beginning of this season, and it is not going to be pretty. Kiesha has spent this whole time in the dark, living her life, planning her future, while the people closest to her have been hiding something that could change everything she thought she knew. And now, with only 2 episodes left before this show ends for good, the truth is finally coming out at the worst possible time. Picture this. Kiesha is sitting there, maybe thinking everything is fine, maybe sensing that something has been off but not knowing exactly what, and then Emmett drops it on her. The look on her face in this episode is going to be one of pure devastation, because this is not just some small secret, this is about a life that was taken, and about people she trusted keeping that from her. Once she knows the truth, she is not going to be able to just sit on it. She is going to have to decide what to do with this information, and that is where things get dangerous because the person connected to all of this is Tiffany, and Tiffany is not somebody who is going to sit back and let her freedom slip away without a fight. Tiffany has been carrying this weight the entire season, and now it feels like the walls are finally closing in on her. There are strong signs that law enforcement is closing in, that somebody may have gone digging into her past, her connections, and what she has been hiding. Detective Toussaint has not let up for 1 second, and it looks like she may finally be putting the pieces together in a way that points directly at Tiffany. When a detective who has been chasing the truth all season finally gets a break, that usually means somebody is about to fall, and it is starting to look like Tiffany's name is written all over this. The pressure on her is about to reach a boiling point, and desperate people do desperate things. If Tiffany feels cornered, if she feels like her entire life is about to collapse, there is no telling what she might do to protect herself, and that is what makes this episode so terrifying to think about. And then there is Bakari. He has been way too close to Tiffany for way too long, and it feels like he has no idea just how much danger he is actually in. Tiffany is the kind of person who will protect herself first, no matter who gets hurt in the process, and Bakari sticking around her orbit could end up being the biggest mistake of his life. There are hints that Bakari is going to be forced into making a choice that could determine whether he makes it out of this situation alive. And honestly, the way things have been going, nobody feels safe anymore. Every single person connected to Tiffany right now is walking on thin ice, and one wrong move could be the difference between survival and becoming another casualty in this story. On top of all of this, there is a deep, painful family situation still playing out. Devonte's future is hanging in the balance, and there are signs that a full-blown battle is coming over where he belongs and who gets to raise him. This is not just a side story, this is about a child caught in the middle of adults who cannot get on the same page. And it is going to hit hard emotionally because Devonte has come so far this season. He has grown, he has changed, and now there is a real fear that all of that progress could be disrupted depending on how this custody situation plays out. Meanwhile, Jake is still trying to process the loss of his mother, and grief does not follow a straight line. He is going to push people away even when they are only trying to help him, and that kind of pain has a way of spilling out into every relationship around him, especially the one closest to him. Every storyline in this show is about to collide at once, and the tension in the air is impossible to ignore. This is not a normal episode. This is the episode where secrets stop being secrets, where the truth finally catches up to the people who have been running from it all season, and where at least one relationship, maybe more than one, is never going to be the same again. The most heartbreaking part of all of this is watching Kiesha find out the truth in real time, because up until now she has been the one person in this entire story who has been kept completely in the dark. She trusted Emmett. She trusted the people around her. And the whole time there was this secret sitting there, growing heavier and heavier, waiting for the moment it would finally break loose. When Emmett finally tells her, this is not going to be a calm conversation. This is going to be raw, painful, and full of the kind of silence that says more than words ever could. Kiesha is going to have to sit with the fact that someone lost their life, and that the people she loves most were the ones carrying that secret around her this entire time. That kind of betrayal cuts deep even when the person telling her the truth had good intentions, because at the end of the day, trust is trust, And once it is broken like this, it does not just come back overnight. And here is where it gets even more complicated. Once Kiesha knows the truth, she is not going to be able to look at Tiffany the same way again. These two have history, they have been close, and now Kiesha is going to be forced to carry the weight of knowing that someone she considers family may be responsible for taking a life. Imagine being in that position, having to decide whether to say something, whether to confront her, whether to protect herself and her family from whatever chaos might be coming. This is the kind of situation where there is no good option, only choices that come with consequences, and Kiesha is about to be thrown right into the middle of it whether she wants to be or not. If she approaches Tiffany the wrong way at the wrong time, she could be putting herself directly in harm's way. Especially with everything else that is unraveling around Tiffany right now. Because make no mistake, Tiffany is not in a good place. She is being backed into a corner from every single direction. Law enforcement is digging deeper. The pressure from Detective Toussaint is not letting up. And it feels like every episode brings her one step closer to losing everything she has built. When someone feels like they are about to lose it all, they do not think clearly, they do not make smart decisions, they act out of fear and desperation. And that is exactly the energy Tiffany is giving off right now. She has already shown that she is capable of extreme things when she feels threatened, and with the walls closing in this fast, there is a real chance she could snap in a way that puts everyone around her in danger, including the people who love her the most. This is what makes the back half of this season so gripping. It is not just about who did what, it is about watching people we have followed for years being pushed to their absolute limits. Bakari is caught in the middle of all of this, tangled up with Tiffany in a way that could easily cost him his life if he is not careful. He has had chances to walk away, chances to protect himself, and yet he keeps finding himself pulled back in. There is something almost tragic about watching someone repeatedly choose to stay in a dangerous situation, especially when everyone around him can see the warning signs so clearly. It creates this constant sense of dread because you know that eventually something has to give, and when it does, it is not going to be gentle. At the same time, this family drama with Devonte is quietly building into one of the most emotional threads of this final stretch. This is a child who has already been through so much instability in his young life, and just when things started to feel like they were stabilizing, just when he started forming real bonds with the people mentoring him, this custody conflict threatens to pull the rug out from under him all over again. Watching a kid get caught in between two parents who love him but cannot agree on what is best for him is one of those storylines that hits differently, because it is not about crime or revenge, it is about a child's sense of safety and belonging, and that is something a lot of viewers can connect with on a personal level. There is real fear that just as Devonte was finding his footing, everything could get uprooted again, and that uncertainty is going to weigh heavily over these final episodes. And then there is Jake still trying to find his way through grief that does not have an end date. Losing a parent changes a person in ways that do not resolve neatly in one episode or even one season. He is going to keep struggling to let people in, even the ones closest to him who only want to support him, and that internal battle is going to create friction in his relationships at the exact moment he needs connection the most. Grief has a way of making people push away the very support they need. And watching that play out is going to be one of the more emotionally heavy parts of this final chapter. All of these threads are converging at the same time in the same episode, and that is exactly why Cold Feet feels like the beginning of the end. Every secret, every unresolved tension, every fractured relationship is coming to a head, and there is no way all of these storylines collide without something breaking. The only question left is who is going to be left standing once the dust settles, and who is not going to make it to the final episode at all. What makes this moment in the show so unsettling is the phrase that keeps hanging over everything, the idea that no one is safe. That is not just a throwaway line, that feels like a direct warning to everyone watching, because at this point in the story, literally every major character has something to lose. Tiffany has her freedom on the line. Bakari has his life on the line. Kiesha has her sense of trust and safety completely shattered. Devonte has his stability and his future hanging in the balance. And Jake is still trying to hold himself together while grieving. When a show tells you flat out that nobody is safe with only 2 episodes left, you have to take that seriously, because it means the writers are not planning to give anyone an easy way out. Somebody is going to pay a price before this story is finished, and the not knowing who it is going to be is exactly what makes this final stretch so hard to sit through. Think about Tiffany's situation for a second, because it really is a slow-motion collapse happening right in front of us. She has spent so much time trying to stay one step ahead, trying to control the narrative, trying to make sure the blame lands anywhere but on her. But desperation has a way of making people sloppy, and if law enforcement really is closing in the way it appears to be, she is running out of room to maneuver. The scariest part is that she has shown she is willing to protect herself at any cost, which means the people closest to her, the people who trust her, might not fully understand just how far she is willing to go if she feels cornered. That is a terrifying position to be in, being close to someone who is capable of anything once they believe their back is against the wall. And that brings us right back to Bakari, because out of everyone in this story, he might be the one in the most immediate danger. He has had every opportunity to distance himself, every warning sign has been right there in front of him, and yet he keeps finding reasons to stay close. There is something deeply human about that though, the way people convince themselves that things will work out, that they can handle it, even when everyone around them can see the danger clearer than they can. It is that kind of blind loyalty, or maybe blind hope, that so often leads to the most devastating outcomes in stories like this one. If something happens to him, it is not going to feel like a random plot twist, it is going to feel like the tragic result of choices he had every chance to walk away from and didn't.